If you want your interviewing process to be more than the luck of the draw, then you're going to have to be intentional about it. And contrary to most of the interviewing I've observed, it's about a whole lot more than just asking questions. So today we're talking about 3 objectives that you should be trying to accomplish in the interview process, and 2 of them might surprise you. If you're like many entrepreneurs and small business owners I talk to, then you're what I call unemployable, meaning you've got the entrepreneurial spirit and working for someone else isn't going to work for you very well. In fact, it may have been many years since you last interviewed for a new job, if you've ever interviewed for one at all. And on the other side of the coin, many small business owners don't really have a process for hiring or interviewing job candidates. Many of you just kind of shoot from the hip and hope for the best. Now, you might get lucky, but more often than not, a poor hire is going to cost you a lot of money and a lot of heartache. Business is hard enough without bringing the wrong people on board, right? So today I want to share 3 objectives I think you should be trying to achieve in your interview process. First, you should aim to be extremely clear about your expectations for the role that you're hiring for and what you expect from the people on your team. So I would start by sharing the company mission statement. You do have one, right? The reason I want you to start here is because it answers so many questions for your candidate. Why does your company exist? What are you trying to accomplish? And why does that matter? Remember, every human being is looking for a story to participate in. So tell your candidates what story you're writing right up front. And then I want you to position the role that you're hiring for inside of that story. Explain the results that you expect this role to deliver using the KRA you wrote, because you did write one, right? Show how these results contribute to the mission that you're trying to achieve. And then I want you to very clearly lay down your expectations for your team members. Now, you're going to have to decide what your expectations are, but you should declare them very clearly because you don't want people to be surprised after you hire them. People can't read your mind. So if you expect them to show up for work at a certain time, this is the very first time that you need to say that. Now, all of this will contribute to the 3rd objective, so we'll come back and talk about this again in a minute. Let's move on to the 2nd interview objective. Your 2nd objective is to filter out people who aren't a good fit for your team or for this particular role. In my observation, this is generally the only part of the interviewing process that most small business owners are doing at all. They all ask questions because that's what you do in an interview, right? But wait, don't just go for some generic questions you find on the internet. Instead, you should craft questions that are going to surface the things that you need to know about a candidate. For example, if you're hiring someone to be your office manager, you should ask questions that are designed to give you a picture of their organizational skills. Or you might give them a hypothetical example of some angry customer who calls on the phone and then ask them how they would handle that situation. And one more idea for you to consider: working interviews. Be willing to pay for someone to come and work with you for a couple of hours so that you can observe their work ethic. For example, if you're trying to hire a new junior framer on your crew, you might ask them to come and assist you with a framing job for a day and pay them for it. Do they show up on time? Do they stand around and wait for you to tell them what to do? Do they even know which end of the hammer to hold? Do they interact well with you and the rest of your crew? Seriously, the working interview is way underutilized. People behave a lot differently in a working environment than they do in an interview, and this is a great way to learn more about someone than you can possibly learn in just a traditional interview alone. Ultimately, you're trying to filter out people who are not going to be a great fit. Now, let's move on to objective 3, awaken interest and excitement in your candidate. I call this part flipping the script. I want you to leave a decent amount of time and space for your candidates to interview you. Here, you're looking for someone who seems to be enrolled in the mission and excited about what you're trying to accomplish. If all of their questions are about compensation or benefits or what you're going to do for them, then this person probably isn't a good fit for you. And that's precisely the point of the first objective I gave you earlier. You've given them clarity around the mission, the role, and your expectations so that they can self-select out. Oh, he expects me to be at work by 8:30 every morning? That's not going to work for me. See, trust me, you're going to learn a ton about your candidates by their reactions to your expectations from the questions that they ask you. Now, do you remember that I said hire slow, fire fast? No, I don't necessarily mean that hiring a new team member should take a month, but I do want you to be intentional about the process. And for that reason, I do recommend that you conduct at least 3 interviews before you make an offer. Each interview should be designed to learn something very specific about the candidate and to verify that they could be a good fit for your team and for the role that you're hiring for. Okay, that's it for now. Next time, we'll talk about actually making the offer. In the meantime, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the interview objectives that I shared with you today. Are you already doing some of these? Do you think I missed anything? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you soon.